we were talking about the G and how a G has a soft sound and a hard sound. Its hard sound is J. Its hard sound is G. And the three letters that determine what sound the G is going to make are E, I, and Y. If there's an E, I, or Y after a G, the G will make its soft sound J. And that's the only time G will say that soft sound, J. Every other time, G is going to make its hard sound G. So G is much more common. The same rule goes for C. Exactly the same. If there's an E, I, or Y after it, it's going to make its soft sound. Otherwise, it will make its hard sound. So for C and G, the hard sound is much more common, as you'll see probably in these words. So the last time, if you were here before, our extra practice words, I'm going to go over them with you at the beginning here. If not, then hang on for just, if you weren't here last time, hang on for just a minute and then we'll get started in today's lesson. So number one is gluto. Gluto. Number two, glompit. Glompit. Number three, Jessompre. Jessompre. If you have any questions about any of these, why I said a certain sound for a certain letter, please let me know. For Gimprist. Gimprist. Number five, Gromosp. Gromosp. 6, Jitimp. Jitimp. 7, Grotipim. Grotipim. If you'll remember, I in the middle, like this one, and this one, no, this one will break the tap two rule. I's in the middle make their short sound as long as they're in the middle syllable. It can't be in the middle of the word, like this is in the middle of the word, and this is in the middle of the word, but that's not in the middle of the syllable because this word is only a 2-syllable word. It has to be in the middle of a multi, at least 3-syllable words for that to work, for that I to make that is sound always. So if it's in the middle syllable, then it will say the I sound. So this is grotipim, and this is gomtripity. Gomtripity. It's fun to say. Number 9 is gyptrim. Gyptrim. Be careful that you don't say a CH right here for that T sound. It's not gyptrim. Enunciate that T as it was intended. Gyptrim. Gyptrim. And number 10, glimpompi. Glimpompi. Why is at the end usually of a multi-syllable word usually make their long sound? I mean, what did I say? Usually make the long E sound, I should have said. Once in a while, you'll see words where that Y is going to make the long I sound, like in multiply or so once in a while, the Y will make the long I sound at the end, but usually at the end of longer words, that Y will say the long E sound. That's why we go with that one in these nonsense words. All right, let's go to our today's lesson. Is this the right one? Yeah. So today we're going to be talking about the trigraph, 3 letters that make one sound. It's the TCH makes the same sound as the CH. The T is silent. I hesitate because you might be able to hear the T a little bit, but it's practically silent, like an itch. So the T is actually a stop sound where your tongue stops the air from coming through. Sometimes that's why it can sound like a D, like in pretty. The T sounds like a D, pretty. I mean, if we said it properly, it would say pretty, but usually we just say pretty. So in words like it, I can you can hear that stop. You can see my tongue is stopping the air from coming out before I make the CH sound. Itch. So that T, you can kind of hear it a little bit if your ear was really, really trained. But for the most part, and for this lesson, we're going to call it silent because you can't really hear it. You can more accurately describe it as noticing it. So TCH makes the same sound as CH. But before we go any further on that, let's do our phonemic awareness warm-up. So put in the chat, how many sounds are in guitar? Sounds in guitar. Not an easy one. Here's a hint. R is 2 sounds. Some crazy funky letters in there. If you're thinking of the spelling, don't pay attention to the spelling. Just pay attention to the sounds. So guitar has these sounds. People are still putting in their answers. Guitar has G, I, T, R. It sounds. I'll do that again. Guitar has G, I, T, R. That A is making the ah sound because of that R after it. And that's what we are going to learn all next month. Whenever an R comes after a vowel, it's going to change the sound of that vowel. Let me know if I'm talking too softly. I have a tendency to do that. That's why that A changes to the ah sound because there's an R after it. So the sounds in guitar are G, I, T, ah, Guitar has 5 sounds. That one was a hard one. I knew that going in. Okay, magic. How many sounds in magic? See, those answers are coming in. All of you are either there or very close. Magic has 5 sounds. M, A, J, I. 5 sounds. There's so many things I want to tell you about this word. I'll just teach you a little bit about this word. So the correct sound for M is M. Your lips are closed. Don't let them separate or else it'll say ma. The sound for M is not ma. It's M. You have the A. Then the G is making it soft sound because there's an I after it. That's what we learned last time. So the third sound is J. And then we have your I and your K. So what I wanted to teach you is for spelling. Tool on here so I can type. Whenever you hear ick at the end of a multi-syllable word, you're always going to spell it with an IC. I'll say that again. So this is for spelling. It's just a little fact. Whenever you're spelling a word, a multi-syllable word, not a one-syllable word, that's a different rule. But a multi-syllable word, more than one syllable, and it ends with the ick sound, you're going to spell it with an IC always. Like traffic, panic, terrific. Feel free to put some in the chat. If you have, I don't think I'll go into the one syllable word rule because this is enough for now. But if you hear ick at the end of a longer word, you're always going to spell it with an IC. For my students, my little guys, we have a little chant that goes, ick at the end of a longer word is always IC. Ick at the end of a longer word is always IC. So that's a little fact for spelling. But let's go back to our phonemic awareness here. Magic has 5 sounds. M, A, J, ick. How many sounds in foot? Ball. Football. Not an easy one. You're doing great. Wow. I'm super impressed. Holy smokes. Amazing, you guys. Well done. So football has 6 sounds. We have uh. Is that sound that we don't have a letter for in our alphabet. B, A, O. And there's that A making the ah sound again because of the next letter. If an A is followed by an L, it's going to make that A say ah, like an all or tall or ball. That was beautiful. So many people got that one right. Well done. Okay, let's hop on down to TCH makes the sound. The T is silent. However, you can notice it by being aware of your tongue hitting the top of your mouth right before you say the CH sound. And the sound for CH or TCH is silent, only air. It's not ch, it's ch. So CH is a digraph, 2 letters that make one sound. TCH is a trigraph, 3 letters that make one sound. Oh, and another fun fact. Okay, get ready to have your mind blown. Or maybe it's just me. I'm such a word nerd. I love little fun facts like this. But this is so handy when you're spelling. TCH will, and when you're reading, TCH will only 100% of the time come right after a short vowel. You will never see a TCH after any other sound than a short vowel, like a, e, a. It will never come after a long vowel, and it will never come after a consonant. And yes, it's only at the end unless it's a compound word. So, for instance, think of the word catch. We have a, there's that short vowel, and then your TCH. Ch. And then think of the word lunch. We have that N, and then a CH is after it. So when you're spelling, if you're wondering if it's a CH or a TCH, look at the letter right before it. If it is a short vowel, then you're going to spell that with a TCH. If it's a long vowel or a consonant, you're going to spell it with a CH. For reading, you'll know that that vowel is making it short sound if the next 3 letters are a TCH. Yes, Jackie, thank you. Patch is another good example. Okay, so let's get into marking our words here. So I know the C is going to make its hard sound k because the next letter is not an E, I, or Y. This O is going to make its long sound because one of the next 2 letters is a vowel. This A is going to make its short sound because the next 2 letters are consonants, and you have also just learned that TCH can only follow a short vowel. So when you read this word, pencil read this word, it's k, o, t, a, ch, co-tatch, co-tatch. Okay, try yours over here. So when we pencil read this word, we have O, I, ch, o, pitch, o, pitch. Any questions on that one? The O says O because there's a vowel 1 or 2 doors down. The I says I because there's not another vowel, one or two doors down. Co-pitch. All right, let's try the next one. So here we have a hard C because the next letter is not an E, I, or Y. This vowel is going to make it short sound because the next two letters are consonants, and we can see that a TCH is right there, which always follows a short vowel. So this word is I. That TCH only gets one dot because it only makes one sound, and we're just dotting the sounds, not the letters. We're dotting the sounds. So this is rich, rich, rich. Okay, try yours over here. Okay, so when we pencil read this word, we have b, r, ah, ch, brotch, brotch, brotch. Will you put in the chat, how are you doing with TCH? Is it a little confusing, or is there something I can explain a little better? Or the TCH, how are you understanding that it's only one sound? The T is silent, but can be noticeable. Okay, and it will always come after a short vowel. Did you know that? Did you know that TCH can only come after a short vowel? Isn't that a fun fact, or is it just me that thinks all these little facts are fun? Mary, you know a lot. I think you know more than me. You almost knew that? Yeah. Mary, you're going to be my sub if I ever have to have a sub. Can you please go over the hard C and soft C again? You bet. Hard C sounds like a K. Soft C sounds like an S. It's the same rule for G. If there's an E, I, or Y after it, it's going to make the soft sound S. If not, if it's any other letter, it's going to make the hard sound. Thanks for asking. All right, let's come over here to my vowels. I'm going to circle my vowels because if you can read the vowels, you can read the word for the most part. I mean, it can be hard to blend it when it's really hard, when it's really long, I mean. But I'm actually going to clear this so it's not so messy. But if you can read the vowels, you have the tools for reading the word accurately. Okay, so here I'm going to mark this with a brev, which is the symbol for a short vowel sound because the next two letters are consonants. This one also gets a brev because the next three letters are because the next two letters are consonants, and we know that the next three letters are that TCH little reading hack. So when I pencil read it, we have d, e. These two L's only get one dot because we're only dotting the sounds, not the letters. O, I, ch. When I connect the dots, I have delich, delich, delich. What would it have said if it looked like this? Just to yourself, what would this have said if with only one L? Just say it to yourself, and I'm going to say it in a minute, so see if you got it right. What would that word have said? Yeah. So if there's only one L, that E is going to say its name. So that would be delich, delich. That's why the word delicious, a long E right there. Now that I wrote this down, I should probably tell you why this word says what it does. This E says E because one of the next two letters is another vowel. This I says I because it's in the middle syllable. This CI, we are going to learn. I only have TI. I might put a CI in that TI lesson. CI says shh. Isn't that the funnest thing you've heard all day? CH says shh, and OUS is a suffix that says us. That was a lot of information, but that's why this word says delicious. Delicious. Yes, excellent. So that word is delich. Let's try your number 3. Go ahead and mark it. Make sure, thank you for having your videos on. It helps me so much. If you don't have your video on, no judging. I wouldn't either if I were in class, but I appreciate those who are feeling brave and have their videos on because it helps me to see what your mouths are doing, which helps me to guide my teaching. For instance, when you're making the short I sound, as in this word, you have to make sure that your lips are only open. Your mouth is only open wide enough that a piece of paper could fit through your teeth. It has to be, and your mouth has to be kind of wide, like that square smile emoji. It has to be barely open. If it's open anymore, it turns into a short E sound. So close your mouth when you're making that short I sound as much as possible. Okay, so we're on 3 here. You just marked it with a brev over the short I because the next 2 letters are consonants. A brev over this short I because the next 2 letters are consonants. And you just learned that TCH always follows a short vowel. So when we pencil read this word, we have a wide smile with a very narrow opening. Remember the sound for that M. Your lips have to remain closed. Itch. Femtitch. Notice the shape of my mouth when I say that word. When that comes to the I sound, when it comes to the I sound, it's going to go into this smile like this. Like if I said ah, my jaw drops and my mouth is narrow. But when you say I, watch when I say it both times in this word. You're going to see my mouth kind of stretch into a kind of a smile shape. Femtitch. So the shape of your mouth, if you can conquer that, you'll conquer the sound. So it's all about where your lips, where your tongue is all placed, then you'll get the sound correct. Femtitch is number 3. All right, number 4. So I'm going to mark a brev. By the way, we have a brev and we have a macron. Brevs go over short vowels, macrons go over long vowels. That's how you mark them. And an upside down E is the symbol for the schwa sound, which is That's another lesson. So I'm going to put a brev over this short vowel because the next 2 letters are consonants. A brev over this short vowel because the next 2 letters are consonants. And we know that TCH always comes after a short vowel. Have you noticed that there's lots of short vowels in words? That's because they're more common. That's why we teach short vowels first to little kids when they're just learning how to read. We teach them that A says ah, don't we? So we teach them the short vowels first because they're so much more common. Larry, I'm not quite sure I understand your question. I hope you can stay after so I can understand it a little better. Okay, so here we have B, E, U, I, Belich. I have to be careful. That one could be pronounced inappropriately. So we have to be careful when we say this one. Belich. Belich. Okay, try yours over here. So we have 2 short vowels here because The next two letters after both of those vowels are consonants. So when we pencil read this word, we have a voiceless sound. P is only air, it's just a puff of air. E with that smile and your teeth very narrow. Another voiceless sound, only air. A, big, wide, round mouth for a, and then your ch. So when we put those sounds together, it's pitach, pitach, pitach. Would you please put in the chat how you did on those? So I can see how you're doing. It's hard, I know. So if you're having trouble, hang in there. We're going to do a lot of practicing. We're not going to ever stop doing this. So good, good, good.